In this video, I want to show us how to set up approval settings for uh, things like requisition, like invoices, like receipts. So at the end of the video, this video should be able to set up approval settings or to edit currently existing approval settings. So for requisition, first thing you need to do is go to the requisitions module. So from the requisitions module, you will see settings. So settings is exclusively for the admin. Not everyone can access this settings part of requisition. So under the settings, you click on approval settings. So it brings you to the requisition approval settings table. From here, you click on the create approval. So this is where you set up the routing formula for requisition. So how it's going to be routed when someone requests, based on the amount they request, is going to route it based on the formula you set up here. So for starters, you enter the title of the requisition settings. So we can call this staff requisition. So you can call this staff requisition. Then approval type. So it can either be staff or vendor. When it's a staff, it means when a member of staff makes a request. This is how it's going to route it. When it's vendor, it means when a member of staff makes a request on behalf of a vendor or for a vendor payment. This is how it's going to route it. So the next is to choose department. If I pick any department here, it means that, okay, this requisition settings I'm doing now will apply for this particular department. It means when anybody from this department makes a request, this is how it's going to be routed. So that's what it means. If I don't choose any and I say all, it means for all departments, send the request in this way or treat the request in this way. If I select any particular expense category, it means if someone is requesting for something, say transportation, this is how it should be routed. If I don't select anything and I say all, it means whatever anybody is requesting, route it this way. Related item, if I select any particular thing here, it means if anybody is requesting for anything related to any of these items, route it in this particular way. But if I don't select anything, it means anything anybody is requesting for, centered anywhere or that has any cost center, route it in this same way. So applies to amount starting from, I can say from 1 to, I can say 400,000. This means that anybody requesting for any amount between 1 and 400,000, this is how to route it. Then we'll go to where we'll configure the approvers and approval stages. So how many approvers are needed? Like if we select, if we come down here and we add approvers and we add, let's say 2 approvers, and we come here and say 1, that means only 1 approver out of these 2 will be needed to validate a request. If we say 2, it means the 2 of them must approve before the request is validated. If we add 1 more and we say 2 out of 3, that means out of 3 approvers, 2 of them have to approve it before it's validated. So, but if we leave it as 1 and we say 1, it means this one has to approve it before it's validated. So then we go to default watchers. By watchers, it means for every request. For every request, these are the people who should be notified or who should be carried along by default. If we mention anybody's name here, it means every request everybody is creating, they can see it from their own portal. By default, when a requisition is created, only the person who created it and the person who is to approve it can access those requests. But watchers are those who you want to carry along. So if you mention a watcher here, it means everybody that requests from the entire organization, these persons we mention here will be privy to see. They can't approve it, but they can see it. They can't approve it, but they can see it. So by default, the admin, the company admin of the account is a watcher on every requisition. So you can see all requisitions created, whether it's approving or it's not approving. Then the next thing is approval order. You can say sequential, you can say non-sequential. What this means is that if you have 2 or 3 approvers here, and we say it's non-sequential, it means once a request is created, 3 of them will be notified immediately. Anybody can approve it first. Among the 3 of them we mentioned there, any of them can approve it first. But if it's sequential, it means this first person must approve before the second person can approve, before the third person can approve. So if the second person tries to approve without the first person approving, it will not go through because it's a sequential approval. So the way it even works, it is when the first person approves or rejects that the second person gets an email, but then he can see the requisition, but he can't approve it. The second and third persons can see the requisitions, but they cannot approve it. It's only when the first person has approved it that the second can approve it. And it's when the second person has approved it that the third can approve it. Otherwise, if we say it's non-sequential, any of them can approve in any order. Then the next thing is approval stages. Now you have by name and by title. If we say by name, it means we are centering the approvers based on individuals. If we say by title, it means that, let's say we select here request manager. That means the line manager of the person requesting will have to approve first. If we say request manager's manager, it means the second order manager of the person requesting will have to approve it. So that's what title means. We can say head of department. It means anybody that requests from a particular department, the head of department will approve it first. That's what approval by title means. But if we say by name here now, it means you can select anybody from the list who will want to approve it. Let's say David Johnson. It means any request that comes, this person will have to approve it. But if we say by title, it means this head of department of the person that requested will approve it first. Or it can be any other position you select here that can approve it. Maybe any request that comes, the head accountant must approve it first. So this doesn't matter who the head accountant is. The important thing is the head accountant. So the difference between these two, the approval by name and approval by title, is even if someone leaves your organization, if you are doing approval by name, if the person leaves your organization, it will be difficult to get that approved. But if you say approval by title, it means even if one person leaves, anybody who is currently occupying that title will be able to approve it. Anybody who is currently occupying that title will be able to approve that requisition. So regardless of who is occupying it. But if you say by name, then it must be this particular person that must approve it. So that is it. Then force approve means that out of these persons, who can override the approval of others, even if others have rejected it, and we say this person can force approve, it means that every other person can reject it, but this person can override the approval of those that have rejected it. That's what force approve means. So once you're done with this, you click on save, and then you have saved the way you want your requisitions to be routed. If you want to edit a requisition, maybe a requisition approval setting, you can come to the table requisition settings, approval settings table. Then in front of each of the settings here, you have action, then click on edit. So just like you can edit, you can disable a particular formula from applying. So let's say you want to disable a particular formula, you just click on disable approval, and then it's going to disable it. So if you want to enable it back, you click on enable. Likewise, to edit it, you just click on edit on the action button in front of that particular approval. Then you can come and edit it. Maybe you want to remove someone or you want to add someone. For instance, if you click on this, are you sure you want to remove this person? Yes or no? So once you remove the person, you can add another person. That is how it works. So if you want to change the order, maybe this person should approve first before this person, then you have to remove this and remove this, then add this one first, then add this other one second. Then you click on update, and that is how you edit requisitions approvals. So for invoice approvals, you need to go to the settings module. Invoice, receipt, and commissions, for instance, you want to set up approval settings for each of these things, you need to go to the approval settings. So go to settings module. Then from settings module, we go to a menu called approvals. So that's where we can set up approvals for invoices, for receipts. So these are approval settings. So when you come here, it's invoice, receipt, bill payment, and all the others, even commissions as well. So you click on create approval. So you can see the multiple options here. So you select the invoice, or you select commission, or you select receipt. So let's say it's invoice. So approval title, invoice approval. Then starting amount 1 to maximum amount can be 500,000, can be 1 million, whatever it is. Important thing is you can set for multiple approval amounts. So after setting starting amount, maximum amount, you can come back and create another one for an amount starting from that maximum amount. You get one just a bit above maximum amount to another amount, because if you want different persons to approve it, then you have to do that. The next thing is to enter number of approvers needed. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's 2% out of 4 persons, or 3 persons out of 4, or 1 out of 2, just the way you want it. So the next thing is branch. Which branch does this approval formula apply to? Then select approvers. Who are those who are going to approve it? Then you submit. So this is just how to create approval settings.